Elvis Presley starred in 31 movies over just 13 years, while still recording hit songs and touring. The King turned down roles in iconic films like West Side Story and A Star is Born. Elvis's movie Blue Hawaii made more money than the classic film Breakfast at Tiffany's in the same year. His first on-screen kiss caused such a scandal that churches across America condemned him as a danger to youth. Did you know that Elvis Presley was once Hollywood's highest-paid actor? Or that the king of rock and roll turned down a role in what would become an Oscar-winning film? Long before becoming a Las Vegas legend in his signature jumpsuits, Elvis dominated the box office just as much as he ruled the charts. Between 1956 and 1969, Elvis starred in 31 movies, creating a film legacy that's as fascinating as his music. While critics often dismissed Elvis's films as formulaic, they were incredibly popular with fans and made serious money at the box office. Today, these movies offer a colorful time capsule of mid-century America and showcase Elvis's natural charisma and underrated acting abilities. From beach party romps to serious dramas, Elvis's film career was more diverse than many realize. For new fans just discovering the King's movie magic or longtime admirers looking to revisit his best on-screen moments, here's the ultimate countdown of must-watch Elvis films. Grab some popcorn and get ready to be all shook up. Number 15. Change of Habit, 1969. Elvis's final acting role saw him playing a doctor who falls for a nun, played by Mary Tyler Moore, who wasn't revealing her true identity. Talk about complicated romance. Released in 1969, Change of Habit arrived during a transitional period in American culture and in Elvis' career. The movie attempts to tackle serious social issues like autism, domestic violence, and inner-city healthcare alongside its unlikely romance plot. While not exactly subtle in its approach, it does show Elvis in a more mature role than many of his earlier films. As Dr. John Carpenter, yes, that's really his character's name, Elvis works in a free clinic in a poor urban neighborhood. 3 nuns, including Sister Michelle Moore, arrive to help, but are dressed in regular clothes to better connect with the community. Dr. Carpenter has no idea they're nuns as he falls for Sister Michelle. What makes this film fascinating is seeing Elvis at the end of his Hollywood journey. Shortly before filming, he had made his triumphant return to live performance with the '68 comeback special. His renewed focus on music meant his acting career was winding down. There's something poignant about watching Elvis in this final film, especially knowing he would soon return to his true calling as a live performer. Change of Habit may not be Elvis's greatest movie, but it shows a more socially conscious side to his filmmaking and serves as the closing chapter of his Hollywood story. The film's awkward blend of romance, religion, and social commentary makes it a unique, if sometimes uneven, viewing experience. Number 14. Fun in Acapulco, 1963. Sun, songs, and cliff diving, Fun in Acapulco delivers exactly what its title promises. In this vibrant south-of-the-border adventure, Elvis plays Mike Windgren, a former trapeze artist, now working as a lifeguard and entertainer in Mexico's famous resort city, the Pecro. Mike is haunted by a tragic circus accident that killed his partner, giving him a fear of heights he must eventually overcome. Meanwhile, he finds himself caught in a love triangle between a beautiful boat manager, Ursula Andress, fresh from her iconic role as the first Bond girl, and a bullfighter's daughter. The real star of fun in Acapulco is its gorgeous location. Footage of 1960s Mexico. While Elvis himself never actually traveled to Acapulco for filming, his scenes were shot on Paramount's backlot and at other California locations. Clever editing makes it appear as though he's really there. The film captures the glamorous resort lifestyle of the era, with stunning beaches, luxury hotels, and vibrant nightlife. Musically, Fun in Acapulco embraces its setting with Latin-flavored songs like Bossa Nova Baby and the title track Fun in Acapulco. Elvis performs these numbers with his typical energy and charm, often while wearing the film's ridiculously stylish resort wear. The climactic cliff diving sequence, performed by a stunt double, remains one of the most visually striking moments in any Elvis film. While not breaking any new ground story-wise, Fun in Acapulco perfectly exemplifies the escapist entertainment that made Elvis's movies so popular with audiences looking for a colorful vacation from everyday life. It's cinematic comfort food with a south-of-the-border twist. Number 13. Follow That Dream, 1962. In this charming comedy, Elvis plays Toby Quimper, a simple country boy whose family accidentally homesteads on a Florida beach after their car breaks down. When the government tries to remove them, the stubborn Quimper clan refuses to budge, creating their own little paradise and fighting off bureaucrats, gangsters, and social workers. Follow That Dream stands out from many other Elvis films because it gives him a chance to show his rarely seen comedic timing. As the naive but clever Toby, Elvis displays a natural talent for light comedy, playing his character with an innocence that never feels forced. It's one of the roles that best captures Elvis's real-life charm and country boy roots. The film offers a nostalgic slice of early 1960s Americana, celebrating individualism and questioning whether government always knows best. The Quimpers' determination to live life on their own terms resonates throughout the story, even as various authority figures try to force them to conform to society's expectations. Anne Helm provides a sweet romantic interest as the social worker who falls for Toby despite being sent to evaluate his family's fitness as parents to several adopted children. Arthur O'Connell is equally memorable as Pop Quimper, Toby's cantankerous but lovable father. With fewer songs than most Elvis vehicles, only 5 compared to the usual 10 or more, Follow That Dream allows more room for character development and storytelling. The result is one of Elvis's most satisfying film experiences, a movie where the music enhances rather than interrupts the plot. It's a low-key, good-natured comedy that showcases a more subtle side of Elvis's screen persona. Number 12. Kid Galahad, 1962. Elvis laces up the boxing gloves in this remake of a 1937 film that originally starred Humphrey Bogart and Edward G. Robinson. As Walter Gulick, a mechanic turned prize fighter, Elvis gets to show both his sensitive side and his physical prowess in the ring. Kid Galahad benefits from a strong supporting cast, including Gig Young as a charming but troubled boxing promoter and Charles Bronson before his Death Wish fame as Elvis's gruff but caring trainer. Lola Albright brings depth as Young's long-suffering girlfriend, while Joan Blackman provides the romantic interest for Elvis. Set in a beautiful Catskills training camp, the film has a more mature tone than many of Elvis's movies. Director Phil Carlson, known for his work in film noir and crime films, brings a harder edge to Kid Galahad that sets it apart from Elvis's typical light-hearted fare. The boxing sequences are particularly well staged, with Elvis looking convincing in the ring after training with former champion Mushi Callahan for the role. Musically, Kid Galahad features a modest but appealing selection of songs, including I Got Lucky and the touching Home Is Where the Heart Is. These numbers are integrated relatively naturally into the story, with Elvis often singing while playing guitar around the training camp. What makes Kid Galahad essential viewing is seeing Elvis in a more dramatic context than usual. He holds his own against established actors like Bronson and Young, suggesting that with the right material and direction, Elvis might have developed into a more serious actor had his movie career taken a different path. The film strikes a satisfying balance between the demands of an Elvis vehicle and the structure of a traditional boxing drama. Number 11. I Blues, 1960. I Blues marked Elvis's return to the big screen after his 2-year military service in Germany, cleverly incorporating his real-life Army experience into the plot. As Specialist Tulsa McLean, Elvis plays a tank crewman stationed in West Germany who dreams of opening his own nightclub back home. The film follows Tulsa and his buddies as they navigate romance and mischief while serving overseas. The main plot revolves around a bet. Tulsa must win over the seemingly unattainable Lily, a beautiful dancer played by Juliet Prowse. What starts as a wager predictably turns into genuine romance, but not before plenty of misunderstandings and musical numbers. I Blues offers fascinating glimpses of Germany in the post-war era, with scenes set in Frankfurt and Rudesheim. These locations provide an exotic backdrop that elevates the otherwise formulaic storyline. The film's vibrant Technicolor photography makes the European settings pop on screen. The soundtrack ranks among Elvis's best movie albums, featuring catchy tunes like Wooden Heart, which includes lyrics in German, the title track GI Blues, and the playful Frankfurt Special. One particularly memorable scene shows Elvis performing Wooden Heart with a puppet, displaying the natural charm that made him such a compelling screen presence. Juliet Prowse, an accomplished dancer who was briefly engaged to Frank Sinatra, provides a sophisticated romantic interest for Elvis. Their chemistry helps elevate the standard issue romance plot, and Prowse's dancing abilities add genuine artistic merit to the nightclub sequences. I Blues established the template for many Elvis films to follow: exotic locations, catchy songs, pretty girls, and light comedy. While this formula would grow stale by the end of the 1960s, here it still feels fresh and entertaining. The film was a huge commercial success, proving that Elvis's star power remained undiminished by his time away from Hollywood. Number 10. Blue Hawaii, 1961. After the success of GI Blues, Elvis and producer Hal Wallace struck gold again with Blue Hawaii, the film that cemented the Elvis in Paradise formula. As Chad Gates, Elvis plays a returning soldier who defies his wealthy parents' wishes for him to join the family business, instead becoming a tour guide in Hawaii with his girlfriend. Blue Hawaii delivers exactly what audiences wanted: Elvis in a gorgeous tropical setting surrounded by beautiful women, engaging in light romance and adventure, while performing an array of memorable songs. The film's stunning location footage changes Hawaii's beaches, waterfalls, and lush landscapes years before Hawaii. 5-0 would make the islands a television staple. The soundtrack ranks among Elvis's finest, featuring classics like Can't Help Falling in Love, Rock Achula Baby, and the title track, Blue Hawaii. These Hawaiian-tinged tunes perfectly complement the island's setting and remain popular with fans today. Can't Help Falling in Love, in particular, transcended the film to become one of Elvis's signature songs. Angela Lansbury, in an unexpected bit of casting, plays Elvis's mother, despite being only 9 years older than him in real life. With the help of aging makeup and a distinctive accent, Lansbury creates a memorable character as the snobbish matriarch of the Gates family. Joan Blackman provides a spirited love interest as Male, while the supporting cast includes a group of tourists Elvis must shepherd around the islands, leading to various comedic situations. The light white plot serves mainly as a vehicle for Elvis's charm and the Hawaiian scenery, but that's precisely what makes Blue Hawaii such escapist fun. The film's commercial success. It was the 10th highest-grossing movie of 1961 and Elvis's most successful film, unfortunately led Presley's management to favor similar formulaic projects over more challenging roles. Yet viewed on its own merits, Blue Hawaii remains an irresistibly entertaining time capsule of 1960s, Hawaii and Elvis at his most relaxed and Hannock on screen. Number 9. Roustabout. Roustabout finds Elvis in one of his most fitting environments, the carnival circuit. As Charlie Rogers, a wandering motorcycle-riding singer with a chip on his shoulder, Elvis gets to play a slightly edgier character than usual. After being fired from a nightclub job for fighting Charlie, joins a struggling carnival run by tough but fair Barbara Stanwyck. What makes Roustabout special is the authentic carnival atmosphere and the presence of Hollywood legend Barbara Stanwyck, who brings genuine gravitas to her role as Maggie Morgan, the carnival owner. The film offers a fascinating glimpse into the fading world of traveling carnivals in the 1960s, with their sideshow attractions, rigged games, and nightly performances. Elvis looks completely at home in this setting, wearing black leather and performing with raw energy in the carnival's musical numbers. Songs like Little Egypt and the title track Roustabout rank among his more dynamic movie performances. The carnival setting provides an organic excuse for the musical sequences, making them feel less forced than in some of his other films. The movie also features genuine carnival performers and authentic carnival slang, adding a layer of realism often missing from Elvis's more sin-ided productions. Director John Rich, known for his work on TV, shows like All in the Family, brings a slightly grittier edge to the proceedings, while still delivering the entertainment value audiences expected. Elvis and Stanwyck develop a convincing mentor-protege relationship, with her hard-nosed business sense complementing his natural performing abilities. Their scenes together showcase Elvis holding his own opposite a legendary actress, suggesting again what might have been possible had he pursued more challenging roles. While the plot follows familiar contours, with Elvis initially seeming selfish before eventually learning to care about others, Roustabout executes this formula with more authenticity than many of his other films, making it an essential entry in his filmography. Number 8. Spin Out, 1966. In Spin Out, Elvis plays Mike McCoy, a race car driver and band leader who refuses to be tied down by any woman. His freedom-loving lifestyle is challenged when 3 different women set their sights on him: a wealthy heiress who pursues him relentlessly, a female drummer who wants to join his band, and an author researching a book called The Perfect American Male. What makes Spin Out stand out is its playful, self-aware approach to the typical Elvis movie formula. The film seems to recognize the repetitive nature of Presley's cinematic output and leans into it with humor. Elvis essentially plays a heightened version of his movie persona, the carefree bachelor pursued by multiple women while navigating adventures and breaking into song. The racing sequences provide genuine excitement, with impressive stunt driving and Elvis looking natural behind the wheel of various sporty cars. These scenes tap into the 1960s fascination with auto racing that was also seen in films like Grand Prix and Winning. Musically, Spin-Out delivers several catchy performances, with Elvis singing both with his band in the film and in more traditional movie musical sequences. Standout songs include Stop, Look, and Listen, and the title track, Spin-Out. The band scenes are especially engaging, showing Elvis in his element as a performer. The film features a strong supporting cast, including Shelley Fabares in her second of 3 films, with Elvis, Diane McBain, and Deborah Walley as the 3 women pursuing him. Character: actor Carl Batz brings humor as an overprotective father, while familiar Elvis movie supporting player Will Hutchins provides comic relief. Spin-Out's resolution cleverly subverts expectations about which woman will win Elvis's heart, offering a surprisingly fresh twist on the standard Elvis movie romance formula. The light-hearted tone, faster than usual pacing, and self-aware humor makes Spin-Out one of the more entertaining entries in Elvis's filmography, despite coming later in his movie career when the formula was wearing thin. Number 7. Viva Las Vegas, 1964. Widely considered one of Elvis's most entertaining films, Viva Las Vegas pairs him with Anne Margaret, creating the most electric on-screen chemistry of his career. As Lucky Jackson, a race car driver trying to earn money for a new engine by working in Las Vegas, Elvis meets his match in Anne Margaret's Rusty Martin, a swimming instructor who initially resists his charms. The legendary behind-the-scenes romance between Elvis and Anne Margaret adds an extra dimension to their on-screen pairing. Their attraction is palpable in every scene they share, particularly during their dance numbers, where both performers showcase their considerable talents. Anne Margaret was one of the few female co-stars who could match Elvis's energy and charisma, creating a genuine sense of partnership rather than merely serving as a pretty accessory. Directed by George Sidney, a veteran of MGM musicals, Viva Las Vegas features more professional choreography and production value than many other Elvis vehicles. The musical numbers are genuinely impressive, with the Come On Everybody sequence standing as one of the most energetic performances in any Elvis film. The title song, Viva Las Vegas, became synonymous with the city itself and remains an anthem of Sin City to this day. The movie captures Las Vegas in its mid-1960s glory days, when the Rat Pack ruled the Strip, and the city was becoming an entertainment mecca. Iconic Vegas locations feature prominently, creating a time capsule of classic casinos and hotels, many of which have since been demolished or completely renovated. Beyond the romance and music, Viva Las Vegas offers solid racing sequences and light comedy. The supporting cast includes character actors William Demarest and Nikki Blair, though they're clearly secondary to the Elvis Anne Margaret show. Their talent, competition scenes, and the climactic race provide entertaining set pieces that break up the romance plot. While still following the basic Elvis movie formula, Viva Las Vegas executes it with superior style, energy, and production value. The combination of a glamorous setting, great songs, and the unbeatable chemistry between its leads makes it perhaps the most purely entertaining film in Elvis's catalog. Number 6. King Creole, 1958. Often cited as Elvis's finest dramatic performance, King Creole benefited from the direction of Hollywood legend Michael Curtiz, who had previously helmed classics like Casablanca and White Christmas. Set in the seedy nightclub world of New Orleans, the film stars Elvis as Danny Fisher, a high school groggo who becomes a singing sensation while getting entangled with local gangsters. Based on the Harold Robbins novel, A Stone for Danny Fisher King, Creole has a literary pedigree most Elvis films lack. The screenplay was originally developed for James Dean before his death, giving Elvis a more substantive role than usual. As Danny, Elvis navigates a complex web of relationships with his weak-willed father, Dean Jagger, a good girl who loves him, Dolores Hart, a tragic nightclub singer, Carolyn Jones, and a menacing crime boss, Walter Matthau. The film's New Orleans setting provides a perfect backdrop for Elvis's musical performances, which blend rock and roll with blues and jazz influences. Songs like Trouble and Hard-Headed Woman rank among Elvis's most dynamic screen performances, with the French Quarter locations adding authentic atmosphere. King Creole was filmed just before Elvis's Army induction, with his military service delayed specifically so he could complete the movie. This timing proved fortunate, as it captured Elvis at the peak of his youthful energy and raw charisma, before the formulaic movies that would define much of his 1960s output. The supporting cast elevates the material significantly. Walter Matthau, years before becoming a comedy star, makes a genuinely menacing villain. Carolyn Jones, later famous as Morticia Addams, brings genuine pathos to her role as Ronnie, the gangster's mistreated girlfriend, who sees in Danny a chance for something better. Dean Jagger portrays Danny's father with the right mix of weakness and wounded dignity. King Creole shows what might have been possible had Elvis's film career focused more on dramatic substance and less on formulaic musical comedies. Under Curtis's skilled direction, Elvis delivers a nuanced performance that suggests the serious actor he might have become with the right guidance and material. Number 5. Girl Happy, 1965. In this beach party romp, Elvis plays Rusty Wells, the leader of a band hired by a Chicago nightclub owner to secretly chaperone his daughter during spring break in Fort Lauderdale. Complications ensue when Rusty falls for the very girl he's supposed to be watching over, played by Shelley Fabares. Girl Happy catches Elvis at the height of his mid-1960s charm, when he could still invest even the most formulaic material with genuine energy and appeal. The spring break setting allows for plenty of musical numbers, beach scenes, and comedy set pieces that play to Elvis's strengths as a performer. The film shrewdly tapped into the beach movie craze, popularized by Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello, giving it a contemporary feel that resonated with younger audiences of the time. Its portrayal of 1960s youth culture, while cyanide compared to real-life spring break antics, captures the innocent fun associated with the era's beach movies. Shelley Fabares, fresh from her success on The Donna Reed Show, and as a recording artist with the hit Johnny Angel, makes an appealing love interest for Elvis. Their chemistry was strong enough that she would return for 2 more Elvis films, becoming one of his most frequent leading ladies alongside the likes of Anne Margaret and Joan Blackman. The supporting cast of Elvis's band members provides comic relief, particularly Gary Crosby, Bing's son, and Joby Baker. Character actor Harold J. Stone brings gruff humor to his role as the protective father, while Marianne Mobley and Jackie DeShannon round out the cast as other girls pursuing Elvis on the beach. Musically, Girl Happy features several styloed numbers, including the energetic title track and Do the Clam, a dance song that epitomizes the silly but fun nature of mid-60s Elvis movies. The spring break setting provides natural opportunities for Elvis to perform with his band, making the musical sequences feel more integrated than in some of his other films. While not the most substantial film in Elvis's catalog, Girl Happy perfectly exemplifies the breezy entertainment value that made his movies so popular, with audiences seeking escapist fun. It's Elvis in his most accessible movie star mode. Charming, energetic, and impossible not to watch. Number 4. Flaming Star, 1960. In this dramatic Western, directed by accomplished filmmaker Don Siegel, later known for Dirty Harry, Elvis plays Pacer Burton, the half-Native American son of a white settler and his Kiowa wife. When tribal conflicts erupt into violence, Pacer finds himself caught between two worlds, belonging fully to neither. Flaming Star represents one of Elvis's few attempts at serious dramatic acting without the usual trappings of his musical vehicles. The film features only 2 songs, with the focus squarely on the racial conflict storyline and Elvis's character development. This rarity in his filmography shows the kind of roles Elvis might have pursued had Colonel Parker allowed his career to develop in a more actorly direction. The film doesn't shy away from the brutal realities of frontier violence, depicting raids, scalping, and the moral complexities of the conflict between settlers and Native Americans. While its portrayal of Native American culture isn't always accurate by modern standards, Flaming Star was progressive for its time in its sympathy toward Pacer's difficult position and its criticism of racism. Elvis holds his own in scenes with established actors like Dolores Del Rio as his mother and John McIntyre as his father. His naturally dark features made him a convincing mixed-race character, and he brings genuine emotion to Pacer's struggle to find his place in a world that forces impossible choices upon him. Director Don Siegel brings visual flair and narrative efficiency to the film, creating tension and sympathy in equal measure. Known for his work in action films and westerns, Siegel takes the material seriously, never treating the movie as merely a vehicle for its star's popularity. Flaming Star wasn't as commercially successful as Elvis's lighter musical comedies, which unfortunately convinced his management to steer away from serious dramatic roles in the future. However, it stands today as evidence of Elvis's untapped potential as a dramatic actor and represents one of the roads not taken in his career, making it essential viewing for fans interested in what might have been. Number 3. Wild in the Country, 1961. This dramatic film features Elvis as Glenn Tyler, a troubled young man with a gift for writing who gets a second chance when he's paroled into the custody of his uncle after a fight. His probation officer, Hope Lange, recognizes his literary talent and encourages him to pursue an education while he navigates complicated relationships with 3 different women. Wild in the Country gave Elvis a chance to work with prestigious talent both in front of and behind the camera. The screenplay was written by acclaimed playwright Clifford Odets, while the supporting cast included established actors Hope Lange, Tuesday Weld, and Millie Perkins. Director Philip Dunn came from a serious filmmaking background, having written the scripts for classics like How Green Was My Valley. The film takes Elvis's dramatic ambitions seriously, giving him extended dialogue scenes that showcase his ability to convey emotional depth. As Glenn, Elvis portrays a sensitive young man struggling with his direction in life, torn between his intellectual potential and his humble rural background. It's one of his most nuanced performances, suggesting what might have been possible had he pursued more challenging roles. Hope Lange brings dignity and complexity to her role as Irene Sperry, the educated older woman who recognizes Glenn's talent and becomes romantically involved with him, despite the professional complications. Tuesday Weld is equally compelling as the wild girl from Glenn's past, while Millie Perkins rounds out the love triangle as his sweet conventional cousin. While Wild in the Country includes a few songs, they're integrated more organically than in most Elvis films, often emerging from natural situations rather than feeling like forced production numbers. The focus remains squarely on the dramatic storyline and character development. Though commercially less successful than Elvis's lighter fare, Wild in the Country represents one of his most substantial acting challenges. It stands alongside King Creole and Flaming Star as evidence of the serious dramatic career that might have been possible had Elvis's film choices been guided more by artistic considerations and less by commercial formulas. Number 2. Jailhouse Rock, 1957. In one of his most iconic roles, Elvis plays Vince Everett, a hot-headed young man who learns to play guitar while serving time for manslaughter. Upon his release, he teams up with a music industry professional, Judy Tyler, to build a recording career. But success tests his loyalty and character. Jailhouse Rock captures Elvis at his most electrifying, with a surly, rebellious screen presence that echoes the dangerous rock and roll image that initially made him controversial. As Vince, Elvis doesn't play a particularly likable character. He's selfish, aggressive, and often cruel to those who help him. This willingness to embrace an anti-hero role shows a level of acting confidence rare in young performers. The film's signature sequence. Elvis, performing the title song Jailhouse Rock with a group of dancers dressed as inmates, stands as perhaps the most famous musical number in his entire movie career. The choreography, which Elvis mastered despite no formal dance training, shanks his natural movement abilities and raw physical charisma. This performance alone would secure the film's place in rock and roll history. Director Richard Thorpe gives Jailhouse Rock a harder edge than many of Elvis's later films would have, with prison fights, music industry backstabbing, and a gritty visual style that emphasizes shadows and stark contrast. The black and white photography perfectly suits the film's tougher tone and Elvis's rebellious persona. The supporting cast includes Judy Tyler as Peggy Van Alden, the music promoter who discovers Vince and becomes his business partner and eventual love interest. Tragically, Tyler died in a car accident shortly after filming completed, before the movie was released. Mickey Shaughnessy brings complexity to the role of Hunk Houghton, the prison mentor, who later feels betrayed by Vince's success. Beyond the famous title song, Jailhouse Rock features several other strong musical performances, including You're So Square, Baby I Don't Care, and Treat Me Nice. These numbers showcase Elvis at the height of his vocal powers, before the more stymied recordings that would characterize much of his 1960s output. Jailhouse Rock remains one of Elvis's most watchable films because it captures what made him revolutionary in the first place: the dangerous sexuality, the sneer, the defiance, and the sheer physical magnetism that changed popular culture forever. Number 1. Love Me Tender, 1956. Elvis's film debut may seem like an unlikely choice for the top spot, but Love Me Tender holds a special place in cinema history as the moment when the biggest music star in the world crossed over into a new medium. As Clint Reno, the younger brother of a Confederate soldier presumed dead in the Civil War, Elvis stepped into a supporting dramatic role rather than the starring vehicles that would later become his norm. What makes Love Me Tender fascinating is seeing Elvis before his movie persona was fully formed. There's a genuine vulnerability and naturalness to his performance that sometimes got lost in his later, more formulaic films. As Clint, Elvis plays a young man who marries his older brother's sweetheart, only to face heartbreaking complications when the brother returns alive from the war. The film itself is a solid Western drama, with strong performances from Richard Egan as the returning brother Vance, and Deborah Paget as the woman caught between the two men. Director Robert D. Webb treats the material with appropriate seriousness, creating genuine emotional stakes that elevate the film beyond a mere star vehicle. Originally, Elvis was not supposed to sing in the film at all, as the studio wanted to establish him as a dramatic actor. However, his massive popularity led to 4 songs being added, including the titled track, Love Me Tender, which became one of Elvis's most beloved ballads. Interestingly, these musical moments feel somewhat awkward within the Civil War setting, highlighting how the studio was unsure about how to utilize Elvis's dual talents as a singer and actor. Love Me Tender contains a shocking twist ending that audiences in 1956 didn't see coming, especially for the debut film of such a massive star. This narrative choice shows how Elvis was initially positioned as a serious actor, rather than just a musical performer, with the film treating its story with genuine dramatic weight. The black and white cinematography and period setting give Love Me Tender a timeless quality that some of Elvis's more dated 1960s films lack. The post-Civil War setting provides historical substance with themes of loyalty, betrayal, and reconciliation that transcend the typical concerns of Elvis's later musical comedies. For Elvis fans, Love Me Tender offers a fascinating glimpse of an alternate career path, not taken one where Elvis might have developed primarily as a dramatic actor, with occasional singing roles rather than being locked into the musical comedy formula that would define much of his film career. This historical significance, combined with the film's genuine dramatic merits and Elvis's appealingly unpolished performance, makes it the essential starting point for understanding his complex legacy as a movie star